Hello. So I didn't get a lot of chance to talk about images, so I'm going to do a little mini image, what do you call it? Image talk. Okay, so let's say you find an image on the web. You can just click on it. I always like to verify that it is the image I want because sometimes sites kind of block you from getting the images. So if I say open image in a new tab and I just right clicked to get that menu. So open image in a new tab. Um, that is definitely the banana card that I'm looking for. So I can right click on it again and say save image as. And then what you're going to want to do, let's see, I'm going to go to my directory. So I put it in foo. Yours is probably in documents GitHub unless you changed it. So foo username. Okay. So an H1 narrative. So there's our homework. There's no images directory in here right now, so I'm going to add one. So I'm going to say new folder down here, and I'm going to call it lowercase images, and I'm going to say create. I'm going to save it to this images directory. Right now it's called something really dumb, and especially if there's spaces in the name or uppercase, I would just change that now. So I'm just going to call it banana car. I'm going to save it, and then let's switch to Atom. So in Atom, I'm going to add an image. So I'm going to say image src equals quote quote. So that is my basic tag. I always like to finish them out so that I don't forget these ending less than symbols. And then we want to point to the images directory and the file within it. Because index and images are on the same level, we can just basically say images first. So we're going to say images. And then we're going to say slash and then bananacar.jpg. Okay, so I've saved that. And then what you want to do to open it in a browser is same thing we did today. So find it in your Finder. And then in HW1 narrative, drag that index.html over. And then there's our page. So there's our first image. So let's say this is like bigger or smaller than I want. For now, let's just do this. You can just literally give it a size. I can say width equals, I'll just make it smaller than it is. And this is an HTML value. I'll talk about that later. If you know how to resize it in CSS, I totally recommend doing that, but this will work for now. You don't have to specify both width and height. It'll automatically try to give it, like, it'll auto size it basically. So there I've changed it to 200, which is, obviously small. What you want to think about is that the screen is basically 72 dots per inch. So 300 is basically like, I don't know, two and a half. What's 3 times 2? 3 times 2 is 21. Yeah. Or 3 times 7, I mean. Anyway, okay, moving on. So let's say you have an Illustrator file. You, if it's just one part of a file, you can select it and you can save the selection or the whole thing. So I'm just going to save this one piece. So I'm going to select it, and then I'm going to say File, and then Export Selection. And then I'm going to click this. I'm going to make sure this is PNG. It's generally your best option. You can click on this little settings box if you have other options you want, but it's fine with just the default. Make sure it's going to the right place, so you can click on this folder to choose the right place. I'm going right here where I want to go, and then I click choose. That has already exported, I guess. What are you doing? I guess it's done. Let's go look. It happened so fast I missed it. No, it didn't work. Choose the folder, images. I choose you. Okay. What the heck? Oh, I didn't select an asset. That was very weird. Sorry. Make sure one is selected. I think you can do multiples at a time, but yep, make sure that one is selected, and then it exports. Ignore that it says .eps. I don't know why it says that. I've been recording stuff all afternoon. But there's our thing. Illustrator will give it a dumb name. Make sure that you rename this before you check it in. So I'm going to rename this just SETI logo. Okay, so renamed, done. Photoshop. Similar. So one thing to think about with Photoshop is like if you have an image, you need to think about like the dots per inch. So if I say image, image size, I can kind of see the resolution. So right now it's 72 dots per inch, which is great, but it's like 1400 pixels wide, which is sort of like, it's about the size of my screen. I have like a 13-inch screen. So I'm just going to show you, well, now that you know how to resize stuff, you can either, I would at least like make sure that it's only 72 dpi. This right now says it's going to be like 9 megabytes. That's humongous. So I might just like change it to like something similar to, more similar to what I want. So maybe like 800 pixels wide instead. And then I can say export, and the easiest way to do this is just say quick export from PNG or as PNG. And then same thing, find your folder, documents, foo, H1 narrative, images, and then this is a crazy long name. I'll probably make it shorter. I got it from unsplash.com, which is a great place for free images. Succulents. Okay. So that's sort of those three sources. And then I showed you today, if it's from the web, like for that banana car, I could also just, if I'm viewing this open image in a new tab, I could literally just grab this URL and that would also work. So I'll show you what that looks like. It would just be a gigantic URL, and that works just the same. Yeah, same deal. Okay, I hope this was helpful. I'll also send the video of like checking stuff in if you want to try that. All right, thanks.